Hello everybody, this is Baron Robin, and in this guide I'm going to show you how you can play as Malaysia and have a really cool game developing Malaysia to its full potential. I'll be playing on Elite difficulty, Ironman on, as always, and hop into the game. Now, Malaysia starts out as a puppet of the of Great Britain. And as such, your military industry and civilian industry mostly go to your overlord. Moreover, whenever you produce a unit, it simply goes to the UK. So we don't want to be a puppet for very long. So we'll go to war. Yes, we will have a civil war in order to relieve ourselves of the oppression of the United Kingdom. Now, we're going to go communist because I found that on elite difficulty you simply don't have the political power to do anything to develop your country, and the communist tree gives you a nice boost to political power. You get a nice 200 here, 150 and another 200. So this should allow you to get at least to war economy. Maybe even free trade, but probably we'll be focusing on going to war economy and boosting our recruitable population through the conscription laws. Now, let me just set my research and everything, and then I'll talk you through, and then hit 5 speed, and then I'll talk you through what else we're going to do. Start training with 1 unit. It's pretty standard. Boost research, boost construction. Start construction of a military factory. And we'll go for political efforts to get some nice juicy political power. Hit 5 speed, there you go. We don't have any military factories, so this line can go. Right, so how is this going to work? Well, we'll fire our civil war pretty much as soon as possible, because British Malaysia has a lot of resources, and as such people will be importing from us. Currently, most of those factories go to waste. Well, not most of them, but a big portion of them goes to waste. Currently we have 2. We have 1 from trade and 1 from ourselves. So production of our new military factory is going pretty swell. Will be done in November 37. We want to speed this up. We don't want to give our factories over to our overlord. So that's why we will be going to civil war. Now the timing of the civil war is kind of tricky. Because as long as you only have civilian factories, you are pretty much okay. But as soon as you produce a military factory, you will lose it to your overlord. Only as soon as you have the 3rd military factory, you will have 1 for yourself. So you have 2 ways to go about this. You can take the slow route, when you go for civilian factories first, and you go for a relatively late civil war, which may even be better. I'll be honest with you. But I'm gonna go for the quick route, where I'm gonna go down the industrial and get my military factories. Then I'm going to go down the communist road and get my political power. That should put my economy in a state where I can produce enough, quickly enough, to go to war with the Dutch East Indies. There we go, 150. We'll go for a communist revolutionary. Boom. Spanish Civil War. Now there are going to be firing some events where we lose a little bit of stability, which is only good because then we don't need to spend the political power to drop the stability. The only problem is that the events kind of fire slightly random. I picked naval effort as my next focus because I want the dockyards. The 3 dockyards will be producing destroyers, which will need to dominate the seas for as long as it takes to get rid of the Dutch East Indies. This fleet of a few destroyers, like 5 to 7 destroyers, is obviously no match for any of the greater powers. So that's why we need to get all of this done, conquering the whole of the Dutch East Indies, before the Second World War really kicks in. Ah, great. Well, this is just popularity boost. So no debuff to my stability. It's also fine. It just takes 50 more political power in order to drop the stability before we go to civil war. But I'm okay with that. Why are we going for a civil war and not for a peaceful flip? Well, the peaceful flip is simply not worth it, because you'll still be a puppet after you do that. So now we have a decision to make. Because naval effort is done, I can build my destroyers. 3 of them. I will be building convoys later on, because you only start out with 25. And you'll need your convoys to do convoying. But also you need them to move your troops around on naval invasions. And in one of my playthroughs, I ran out of them. So you want to build some convoys at some point, but I'm probably going to switch over in 37 or so. You may also just assign 2 dockyards to destroyers and 1 to convoys if you like, but you don't need that many convoys, just a few. Now you have a decision to make, because you can either rush the military tree, or we can wait around and start our civil war soon. I think I'm going to go for the first 2. The first 2 focuses, and then move on to and then wait and go for the civil war. Because as soon as the civil war fires, we'll be at civil war with British Malaya, but we don't really have any specific tiles to attack, so we'll be permanently at war with them, or at least for the time being. But you can't really get rid of the civil war. It sounds clunky, to me it is. I'm not sure how the mechanic is intended, but you'll end up in a sort of permanent state of war with your former government. And you'll get a casus belli on the UK. Which, if you think you can win that war, you can obviously fire it. But I don't think you can win it. Finished basic machine tools. I'm going to go for concentrated industry this time. It will need maximum boost to our production. And I'm not going to flip over any production, so I don't need to disperse as much. Now, nice. You can end up with a nice amount of imports, well, exports, to, well, Germany, Russia. Well, the Soviet Union, I should say, and also the Philippines. Well, the Philippines are currently importing indeed aluminium, and steel. So we have sorry. So we have 3 military factories. Well, we have one from ourselves. 2 we get from exports, but 1 gets given to our overlord, and 1 is used for consumer goods. So we only have 1 producing the next military factory. So this is going to take ages. That's why we're running 5 speed. Alright, industrial effort is done. Let's go for the first military factory. And I'm going to use my army experience. I've now banked 5 in order to expand the template, which you see is atrocious right now. It only consists of 3 divisions. I'll expand it whenever I hit 5 army experience. And this will go faster as the unit you have training gets bigger. See what commander we get. Very nice. We get a brilliant strategist. Boom. That's great, because brilliant strategists have a better chance of rolling a tech as soon as they level up. Finished construction. I think I'll actually go for construction 2. I'll rush construction 2. Yes. And did I... no. Did not make a mistake. Quickly check my notes. Alright, so this is the startup. In the next episode, we'll continue building up, and I'll... there you go, game base stability -5. I actually like that, because now we're below 50%. And so in the next episode, we'll cheaply fire the Civil War and continue building our little nut, which is British Malaya, to and hopefully in the future blossom and take over the Dutch East Indies. See you then.